Just got to remind you that if you're coming in person, your clocks change soon, so this may alter the time of your this session. Depending on where in the world you are. I guess the US is this weekend, isn't it, or next weekend, something like that. Anyway, you alter your time, so you may alter. You're now earlier from. Is it next week? I think so. Whenever it is, or the week after. Yeah. All right. Okay. Look, I'm going to get going. I will see you in about an hour. Ooh.
Cold?
Chilly. Got the shivers.
Okay. Oh. Well, I'm sure Ignatius will warm you up.
Sit in your light for spirit. By sitting in your own internal light, that light becomes made manifest externally. And that light then will become the expression of your truth. You cannot hide your light, and neither can you hide your shadow. Not to us, but you can to other members of your human race, as they have not yet learned how to decipher the energy, the vibration, and understand the thoughts. The light will have its way. The spirit will be made manifest. Just the time period is for negotiation. You see, within your life, your mission that you signed up to follow will always come true. What happens in your life will follow the path that it is meant to. Your involvement is not required. You can only enjoy or not enjoy the life that you are witnessing unfolding before your eyes. A deeper understanding may be needed for you to fully grasp the depth of this truth that I speak now. But that is not the title of our talk. We will come to that in a moment. And we will also come to the healing in a moment. But first, I must pass on some messages. The first is for Jane. The other medium must sit for 4 weeks. 2 have already been completed, 2 more to come. I trust you will understand. Now, also a message to the one referred to as the lighthouse, who is not present for the live session, but for the recording. Approximately 6 months ago, you were given something rather special. So special, in fact, that there are few people that are alive today that will have witnessed the event that you had. It stirred your heart and gave you clarity, gave you understanding at a level which was still yet to be fully unwrapped. Part of the mission that was given to you at that time was to begin the writing and to continue the writing. But also you should assert your presence on the stage and come back into the world of education. As you feel the stirring within you to do it, and within your being there is the resistance which is at the moment needing to be there, but will soon need to be removed. Now, there are also another message for some gentlemen gentlemen plural, which will receive this communication at a later date. And I pull this information from my medium's mind, as it is necessarily to be transferred to those who are yet to listen to this recording. There is not one gentleman, but a selection. Now, my medium recently read this article, and it needs to be passed on. When you sit in meditation, there comes a point when the stillness is found and the underlying condition of man is found to be the truth and being. With further work, then that truth and being becomes the reality and not the life. And with further work still, then the understanding of the omnipresent also becomes valid. And everywhere there is the immanent rather than the transcendent God. And after that point, then the life that is being witnessed is the manifestation of God. Now, those present today may not fully understand. It is not meant solely for the ones here, but also the ones to come. Now, I declare that that is within the medium's memory. But it is not meant to stay as a memory and is meant to be shared. There is also one other message for a gentleman that will listen in approximately 1 month after the delivery of this talk. And this is a gentleman that is very structured and ordered and likes to conform to the authority of the day and the authority of yesterday. The gentleman then follows the procedures and understandings of what was written, what is known, and what appears to be validated. Is a gentleman of order, and consequently of being in order, likes the law. And likes the law because that gives routine, regularity, and something that he can trust. My friend, I make this statement to you because you will be limited by the box of creation, the human creation and not the spiritual creation. The creation of that very box limits your mind and does not perceive the contents outside of that box. We should explore the realms unknown by breaking the order and structure of what you do know. How can you know the truth when you have a limited eyesight? Look forward, look out, look within, to realize all realms are the same. Follow your path outside of your norm. sit in meditation and the answer will come through your feeling, not through the certainty that you are requesting. So let us proceed. So Brandon, I believe we have some names for a healing list.
Yes, we do. And thank you for the messages to those that need to hear it later on. Ariel, Nelsie, Eileen, Adria, Teresa, Ed, Kathy, Pat, Ken, Carl, Erica, Caleb, Eve Rose, Teresa, Charlotte and Aura, Warren, Roy, Donna, and Bob Henke, Keiko, Mineko, Dave, Jean and Jesse, Angelina, George, Andreas, Stephanos, Irene, Stella, Dimitri, Kristen Barnes, Mark Allo, Chantel and Danielle Marchik, Shane, Pat McCarthy, and Cindy. Thank you.
The process of healing must take place initially because of the desire, the impulse of those stating the name. The healing starts before the names are spoken. It is with the input of those which request that begins the flow of healing energy. So never minimize the briefest of work that you may do in drawing attention or acknowledging those in need. It is often in the very subtlety that they receive what they are destined to receive. Now, as we spoke about, or I spoke about last week, we concluded one topic with 2 weeks of questions. And now we begin our journey into another topic. And I mentioned that I would do the introduction and another would do the communication of the message. Now, this message or these words today will be considered quite light. But they have been chosen today in the method that they will be delivered. For some, in the immediate future, and the rest of you in the longer term future, you will need the strategy and the understanding. So even though they are lighter in nature and not in the depth that perhaps you are used to hearing, they will prove to be quite invaluable if you practice them. If, of course, you just hear the words and let them drift by, then they will stay as a dormant seed within your memory, to be nurtured at some other time. So I will stand away and allow the other personality to be spoken. And then I will return at the end. You got to get yourself all fitted together, ain't you? You got to get used to the way it all works. Hello, everybody. Been a bit of a while, innit? And you ain't heard me voice for a bit. I bet you're thinking to yourself, oh, there he is. I recognise that voice. Charlie's a name. If you want to use it, probably go by a few others. A few of them ain't so nice. But anyway, that don't matter. Let's move on. God bless you. Nice to be here. Got to say, it's nice to be here. When you're used to talking, do you know what I mean? When you're one of these people that likes a bit of a chat, kind of having a bit of a time off to begin with is kind of nice, and it becomes frustrating, doesn't it? So I like to get my words all said. I like to use as many as I can, but that's me, innit? All right, everyone, let's get going. Topic I got given today to talk about in the most simplistic way is the journey through happiness and dealing with life's little tricky situations. It's kind of nice to say this because I don't have to say it in all the energy vibration type of way. I can bring it down to the common denominator of man. There's kind of really, if you think about it, there's probably multi-layers of all this philosophy stuff. The first one's kind of all deep and meaningful and will stir things within your being, but perhaps not immediate, will come about later, make you think a little bit. But the other type of philosophy, if you, or advice, if you want, is more down to earth, isn't it? More down to earth about your life and about way life works and why you should think about things rather than just getting caught up in all the troubles and strifes. Anyway, so I like to call it the practical bit with Charlie. Kind of got a ring to it anyway. His body's a bit itchy, so sorry. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, when you was a kid, when you was a kid, you used to dream about the future, didn't you? And you used to say about your future, say, oh, I wonder what I'm going to do when I'm older. I wonder what it's nice. I'll be happy then. I'll have $1 million in my pocket and I'll go out and enjoy myself. And then when you get to that future, it's a bit disappointing. Yeah, what you thought it was going to be, is it? You thought it's going to be one thing and then it's going to be another. And you wonder to yourself, what happened? Where did it go? Why has this happened this way? Well, the first bit about life that's important for you to understand, unless you want to follow the deeper philosophy bit, is the wondering why actually makes things worse. It don't make things better. Unless you can follow and understand the deeper stuff. You see, I grew up in a time where people were all a bit, let's say, more challenged financially. was in the era I was anyway. And because of that, when you're challenged financially, you always look, let's say, across the river and you see those who are not so challenged financially. And you wonder, why has that happened to me and that's happened to them? Why is that? And the point is, this asking a why becomes like a spiral, which you never really truly know the answer to. It's more important to ask what. As in, what am I going to do about it then? You see, some people get caught in the doom and gloom, don't they? And they go, why me? Why has this happened all the time? But if you answer, what am I going to do about it? Then for a brief second, that worry of why has disappeared. What am I going to do about it? And then, you see, there's a worry gets involved, don't you? You know, people worry about their day and worry about their tomorrows and worry about their yesterdays even. And what's the point in that? When you got your worry ain't going to fix nothing. Don't sort anything out, worry. It's far more important to postpone the worry. That's part of the message today. Postpone your worrying and choose some action. You see, if you put your worry just to one side for a minute, all right, and say, right, okay, I'll leave that for now and I'll pick it up again in a minute if I want to, then all of a sudden there ain't no worry, is there? Do you know what I mean? There ain't no worry. And if you decide a course of action, be it go deeper into it if you want to, or even a one step at a time response, then you can easily move past the situations which develop. You see, when you're climbing a mountain, you don't look at the peak, do you? You look at whatever the next foothold or handhold is. And this is the point of action. The mountaineer cannot afford to worry, because the worry then virtually creates the circumstance. So the important bit is one foot, then one hand, then another foot, so that you move slowly away from your situation. If you dwell too long and too hard, not only do you increase the problem, but you actually manifest whatever the bigger problem is going to be. So you create the circumstance of your life by spending too much time on the understanding of life. When you come to your very fine detail, then it can be confusing. Does it really matter to you if there is existence of life in another planet, or if there's certain things happening at the very depth of your being? Of course, in some situations, it's a yes. But by stepping very slowly along your way, you'll find that don't worry about why, just worry about what am I going to do about it. And then you will find that the steps happen. You see, you know, if you look at when you was a kid, you said, I'll be happy when I'm 30 or 40 or something. And when you get to 20, you say it's 40. And then when you get to 30, you might be 50. And when you get to 60, you might say, well, it was when I was 20. The truth is, the happiness is exactly the same every year of your life. There is no delay to it. It's always the same. Even when life situations becomes the most turbulent and most problematic, and you lose your job and all sorts go wrong. Why has this happened to me will not solve your problem. What am I going to do about it? Will give you understanding. Understanding by taking that one step and moving along your path in a nice, easy way. You see, when you look in the mirror, you can always say, oh, the face is looking a bit rough. You know, maybe I could look a little bit better. I used to have problems with my teeth. Very good for shearing flesh, but not very good for anything else, them teeth. But anyway, I used to worry about them. And I suddenly came to the conclusion, what's the point in that worry bit? This is what I got. You know, what am I going to do about it? Now, if you were born with no arms and no legs, do you sit in worrying about that or just get on with it? You see, there's always something physically wrong and always something mentally challenging. And that's what builds character, isn't it? And it's character that gets you on and beyond what you need to do or learn. Your character gets you forward, doesn't it? Picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, marching on. Not to worry about why would she say that? Why would he do this? Maybe that needs to be understood. But it's what you do about your life. No amounts of better looks or better education will actually change your circumstance when it comes to understanding situations without the desire for action and moving forward. You see, you want to learn, don't you? You want to learn. Maybe you want to learn, let's say, healing, or you want to learn how to become a certain job. Well, the point is one step in front of another. All you do is think of the mountain climber and they move one step up, one hand up, one foot up, one hand up, and they eventually, inch by inch, tackle whatever it is they were going to tackle. You see, the problems that get put in the way of your spiritual path are your spiritual path. They're not in the way of it, they are the way. They're things that you're going to have to go through, go around, or tackle. And that is important for you to do at its most simplistic level. It's a story of the turtle and the hare, isn't it? Just got to keep on keeping on. Now, in doing this, there will come a point where you will have to go deeper into your understanding. But that can be tackled at a later date. Tackle your issues gradually and slowly and find your peace. If you come out of your peace into the concerns of the day, then you will have missed an opportunity to live in with your life. So whatever you're faced, you can deal with it. Whatever you have to do, you must do in the way of keep on moving forward. Now, one of the policies or one of the phrases that we've used very often through this medium is let spirit do the work. You see, the let spirit do the work bit is also to give you clarity of understanding of how much involvement your spiritual truth can have. Now, this seems like a contradiction, doesn't it? One saying, keep on keeping on, take small steps, tackle your problems, get over the mountain. And the other side is saying, well, you ain't doing it anyway. Let us do it. Let us be involved in it. You see, it's a depth of your understanding that you will actually come to these conclusions. Put your full spiritual self involved in each step. So this is not just your mental self or just your physical. It is also your spiritual that needs to be involved in your actions. the stepping forward with your heart and your spirit in place will mean that the problem will be faced very differently. So let's take this even deeper still, but still with the same simplicity, I hope. A problem arrives, you decide to not worry, you decide to act. You decide not to contemplate on why would all this happen to me, but you decide to put one foot in front of the other. You then decide during this process that you bring your spiritual self fully into the action of doing, and you step onwards with your spiritual nature fully involved. As you take the steps forward, be more attentive to the amount of spirit that's there than the action that is taking place. I hope you understand this, it's important. So it ain't just the doing or even the way you do it, it's also making sure that there is full involvement of the spiritual self. Do an experiment. Find out. What would happen if I did something? What would happen if I did something and asked spirit to be involved? What would happen if I concentrate on the spirit connection rather than the doing when I do the action? Of course, if you can see 3 very different ways of producing the results that is required. And then once it's done, of course, it's done. The more spirit connection you will have in your action, then the more unfolding of contentment, love, and happiness. So let's change all of these words so you can understand it. When you do it, it's hard work. When we do it, then we can ease through it. When you concentrate on the spiritual connection, the doing doesn't matter. The love or the happiness or the peace becomes important. Now you thought it's going to be too light, didn't you? But you see, there's depths in this understanding that's important for you to grasp. Let's say, as an example, let's say your wife is talking too much. Now, it's very fictional, let me get that straight, all right? Or you could say it's your husband talking too much if you want to, all right? And you listen to them very intently. That's what you should do. Now, as you listen, make sure there's a connection to spirit in the listening. And when your spirit is involved in the listening, the other person picks up on the emotion. Make sure then at a deeper depth that your connection to spirit is the strongest and truest and richest and fullest. A few nice Charlie words in there. And you find whatever happens, there'll be peace and joy in nature, the nature of your being. Now, I've not said that you stop listening to your wife talking. Heaven forbid. You'll be in trouble. I can tell you that now. Don't do it. Only joking. Anyway, don't do that. Make sure you're fully listening and fully listening from the right place, and then you'll get clarity. Now, what this also does, when you come to that depth of understanding, making sure the spirit is fully involved, and you're concentrating there, then with surrender to that, you will see the spirit in the other person. Now, I've said it this way as like a layered response or a layered level of activity. Yeah? And a layered level of activity, really, you could call mindfulness, couldn't you? How mindful are you? Are you here or are you somewhere else? Is your mind drifted off into space? Bring your being right back into the connection to spirit, and the spirit will be there. And as a natural cause, all the richness of emotion will always be there. You see, your mind creates a false projection of your memory. If it went wrong before, your mind will make it come wrong once more time, one more time. By going past your mind into knowing that there's something else, and then deeper still into that something else, then the joy of life will become far richer. You see, if you really want to get a bit technical and read the manual, you'll understand that you're already connected to that spiritual self. You've just got to let it out, haven't you? You know, the mind creates problems, the body lives it and feels it. But the truth is beyond all of this. Whatever you have to face, from something very light and easy to something far more challenging, these steps are still the same. Be present, connect to spirit, let spirit do the work. And the result is you have the feeling of spirit being there until your mind then wants to take you away. There's many byproducts of all this. I did say love and peace and joy. All these byproducts bring you back into the spiritual self. You see, the reason you're listening to this, is it not true? The reason you're listening is you want to become more spiritual, want to feel the connection, want to feel the joy, and to know there's something else. But the underlying reason is you want to acknowledge your own truth and live a better life. How much better life would you like to live than what I've described? A way to have love, peace, and joy. So where's your mind now? Where is it? What are you thinking about? Are you just listening to these words, or are you drifted off thinking about your shopping? The connection to spirit is just here. It don't have to be in the big fancy stuff that you get the spirit connection, but in the most mundane, the simplest, the easiest. Washing up, walking the dog, reading a book, looking at your loved ones. Be open to the connection, and your life can turn around. Ain't that the truth? You see, you kind of know it, don't you? This is the memory. I'm the memory jogger today, giving you a bit of a nudge. Be present. Connect to spirit. Let spirit do the work and stay there. All right. More philosophy according to Charlie another time. God bless you all. See you later. Ta-ra. The signposts towards truth and understanding are sometimes very obvious and other times a lot more subtle. At times we'll have flashing lights and other times will be hidden in the shade. Your spiritual understanding can only happen if you are open to it. And you let the water of life, nourish the seed that lies within you. So we will continue our talk next week on spiritual truths in a simplistic way, a down-to-earth approach, so that you may understand them and bring them into your life on a daily basis. I ask you to experiment, to feel, to understand, and to connect with the truth that is being said, and either accept or reject. You see, the true knowledge is via experience. Words may point you in a direction, but it is the knowledge that you must walk along the path to gain. So may you be blessed in the light. May you live in the light of spirit. Until next week, when we will continue once more. God bless you all.